Well, hello there and welcome back to the Hull City Fan Central YouTube channel, where today I do have the Huddersfield versus Hull City prediction video for the match which will be taking place in Huddersfield tomorrow. I'll be there at the game bringing you a match day vlog, so stay tuned on the YouTube channel for that. But in this video I'll be going over my predicted lineup for Hull City, a bit of information about both sides coming into this match, and then also to top it off with my official prediction on what I think the scoreline will be and who I think will score. So let's go straight into my predicted Hull City lineup. So I think that it's going to be an unchanged lineup from the last fixture, that 2-1 win against Wigan midweek. Obviously we've still got Andy Dawson in charge, and it was heavily rumoured that the lineup on Wednesday night was actually picked by the new-to-be Pedro Martins, but that deal fell through, so we don't actually have Pedro Martins, but I think they'll adapt from what he was saying to the backroom staff and use the lineup that he put out against Wigan, as it seemed to work better than what we had worked through with the back end of Shotter's reign, and then obviously with that first game with Andy Dawson in charge. So it's going to be Nathan Baxter in goal again. He pulled out some nice saves against Wigan to keep us in it. I think that he's a more well-rounded keeper than Matt Ingram is, but it's just Matt Ingram can rise and consistently stay at that level, where Nathan Baxter, as we saw last season, he tends to dip and dive around his ability. So we'll see how long he can stay at the form that he is at right now. Into the back four, we do have Louis Coyle over at the right back after having a fantastic game against Wigan, picking up the Man of the Match award and also an assist for his name after that beautiful ball into the back post for Dimitrios Pelkas. And then over on the left-hand side, Callum Elder, who has just been having a nice run of form pretty much all season now. He's kind of flying a little bit under the radar as he's just consistently performing. But especially in some of the weaker performances, you can see how consistent he is as a player. In the two central spots, we've got Jacob Greaves again. He's just consistently performing for us. He's maybe not as good as people are tipping him off to be, but he's a solid, well-rounded centre back who has got a future ahead of him, whether that be Premier League or high-end Championship, who knows? But he's definitely got a good future against him. So we need to make the most of while we've got him, basically, as he did nearly leave us in this summer window, so could possibly leave in January, but we need to make the most of it right now. The other centre-back partnership for Jacob Greaves is Alfie Jones. He's had quite a nice past few games after his poor run of form a while back. He's actually picked up form, I find, pulling out a few nice performances in the Luton loss and also the Wigan win. So I can see him start over Sean McLaughlin, although I'd like to see Sean McLaughlin get some game time in. Obviously we saw Tobias Figueiredo get a bit of game time at the end of the last game. I mean, we was all going, oh no, in the stands, but it's a tricky case with that, with who we partner up with Jacob Greaves. At the moment it seems to be Alfie Jones working, so let's stick with that. Don't tempt fate, especially when we're coming into a game like this, a team that are below us, a team that are also based in Yorkshire, so it's Yorkshire Derby. Let's not tempt fate, let's just stick to a back four that has done a solid job against Wigan midweek. In the midfield spot now, we do have the 50 grand man, Regan Slater. So Regan Slater does come into the side again. He didn't have the best of performances in the past two games, I've found. But when needed, he's been there, he's been doing bits, and he's a good player. He just needs to adapt to this new style a bit further. I find that he tends to push up the field a bit more, when really with a full-back we do need him to be dropping a bit deeper, as we saw someone else doing that, and that is Ozan Tufan, who'll be partnered up with Regan Slater in midfield. He was dropping back, he could play a beautiful game, a sort of like a CDM holding midfielder role against Wigan, and he was a standout performance. I was mentioning before the game, I would like to see the old Ozan Tufan back before he got his injury, and we saw a glimpse of that. I mean, it wasn't in the attacking prowess as he had before, but it was just a spectacle to watch him perform, move the ball around, and he was doing a very, very good job as a holding midfielder. So I think he's going to play a somewhat similar role in this game here. As I said, I don't think that the tactics will change that much from the Wigan game, as it did seem to work there, and we are up against what on paper seems like a weaker opposition, but we know how that comes out, especially when you're a Hull City fan. Moving a bit further up the field, we do have Dimitrios Pelkas. Obviously, Pelkas scored a goal, his first goal for Hull City in that Wigan game, and also, dare I say, the main reason why we conceded that first goal from Will Keane. He wasn't in the right position, I found. And I think I blamed him in the vlog, and I kind of still stand by. After watching the replays, it does seem like he could have been in a better position to prevent that goal, but he went on and scored at the other end of the pitch, kind of made up for it, and then we did go on and win 2-1, which was lucky for his case. But he did have a fantastic game other than that one or two faults that I've mentioned. So he's definitely tipped to come in this game and possibly tipped to score again. Moving out wide now, we do have Dukan Sinek, who has also had another brilliant start to his career at Hull City. 2 games in and 2 very, very good performances. I felt the Wigan performance was weaker than the one when he came on against Luton, but nothing too worried about. He's a fantastic player, and he'll definitely be doing some serious bits for us this season. Up top, we do have Oscar Estupiñán, who scored again in the Wigan game, making him still the Championship's leading goal scorer by, I think, about 1 or 2 goals it is. So that's fantastic, and he could possibly get on the score tally tomorrow. Then that leaves one man in the side, and it's Cyrus Christie. Yes, I thought that he had a fantastic game against Wigan, playing a right wing, right mid role when he's usually playing as a right back, right wing back. I found that he played fantastically, and I've actually put him to start up here. I felt that the partnership of him and Coyle down that side actually worked in this game. I don't know whether that was something that was discussed off the field after the Luton loss when they was both playing on that right hand side and it was just a whole mix up, but they actually worked on that side together. There was moving and there seemed to be a bit of chemistry there, which we haven't seen before, especially since it's like tipped to them fighting their position. They're not really. They was playing there as a right back and a right winger, which I really liked, and I'd like to see that again in this game against Huddersfield. So that's my predicted lineup. Let me know down in the comments what you think will you change and who you think may come in for who. Moving on to a bit of information about both sides. So obviously, Huddersfield, they beat us twice last season, a 2-0 loss away at their ground, and then a 1-0 loss at our ground with a Tom Eaves red card, of all things. So I was actually at both of those games. I didn't get any vlogs for them, but I was actually at both of those games, and I've got to say that it was some of the most unenthusiastic football I've ever seen. I think that the one where we lost 2-0 at their ground, obviously Huddersfield went on to the playoff finals last year. They're not doing as well this year. They're sitting, I think, 23rd in the table, second from bottom. And we're sitting at about 19th, 17th at the moment after today's fixtures being played. So it's looking in our favour. I mean, we can take what happened last season and we can put it into the frame of mind of this season. We've had a fantastic starting month to the season. Next month we did drop off, and then we're starting to pick up form again. I saw a bit of inspiration in that last game. I've not been seeing too much inspiration from Huddersfield. I mean, they did just draw 3-3 away at Luton, but one of them goal was a lucky own goal by one of Luton's players. So it really is all to play for in this Yorkshire derby. So let me move on to my predicted scoreline and who I think will score. So I do think it's going to be a 2-0 win for Hull City. After predicting us to lose the last game and winning, I'm going to predict us to win here, and if we lose, these fate things are all messed up. So I do think that we're going to win it 2-0 with an Oscar Estupiñán goal to open up the game, and then a bit of time played on. And then Cyrus Christie, I do think he will score as well, making it his first for Hull City after having a nice game. And unfortunate not to score, especially with that early chance, the cross whipped in from, I believe it was Dukan Sinek. Unfortunate not to get on the right side of the ball for that. But yeah, I do think that both those will score, and I do think that we're going to pull out with a 2-0 victory It's on TV again, so who knows, it possibly could be 5-0 to Huddersfield, as we know how TV appearances go for Hull City. But let me know down in the comments what you think of my prediction, who you think will score, and what you think the scoreline will be. So let me know down in the comments about that. Make sure you like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, as I will have the matchday vlog out tomorrow after the game. So stay tuned for that. But this has been the Hull City Fan Central YouTube channel. Goodbye.